We lost most Ghanaians during this time, but not because we mismanaged the economy. In this time, Ghana will appreciate the difference between the talkers and the doers. Kukrudu. Richard.
Yeah, it is to me.
Richard Ahiagbah, the communications director for the NPP.
You sounded very well with the last bit you said.
Kukrudu.
That was your best sound. That was your best sound. I mean, all morning, that's your best sound.
Really?
Yeah. When in doubt, just say Kukrudu. Okay. Annie, I think that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is faced with reality. The reality he's faced with is that he and his party have spoken big, made very ground-moving comments and statements about the economy, such that Ghanaians bought into their message and voted for them. Now he's at a point he must deliver, and the reality is hitting him. He knows now that it's not a tea party. All right, he has to actually bring the game on, and the game is not coming. They are working on the budget, and they see it, that this whole thing is not a tea party, but rather the NPP was being ingenious in trying to solve the problems of the country. We've had governments manage our economy. In this Fourth Republic, you can see that it is in the Akufo-Addo Bawumia era. If you take President Akufo, who came to revive our economy from the decline that the NDC, led by the former president, His Excellency Jerry John Rawlings, left it in 2001, brought the economy and it became the toast of the world. And you know, it was around that time that we became a middle-income, lower middle-income country. And Akufo-Addo also again came to salvage the decline that the NDC left under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama in 2017. It is only in this government, Akufo-Addo's government, that you saw an economy ravaged completely to the ground, but yet were able to bring that economy back, turn it around. The NDC under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama faced economic difficulties. They had to go to the IMF in 2015. In 2014 was a disaster for our country. I think the economy was moving in any all direction except the right way that the economy must move, which is forward. It was going backwards, shaking left, right, going backwards. They, in that period, were not able to turn the economy around. The economy was nose-diving until His Excellency John Dramani Mahama left office in 2017. We came and turned that economy around. The economy they couldn't turn around in 2016. From 2015, when they went to the IMF and whatnot, they couldn't turn it around. From 2013, when he came to office, we turned that economy around in 1 year. In 2017, at the close of that fiscal year, GDP expanded 8.1% compared to the 3.4% we inherited from His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. So he did not leave an economy, okay, or he did not manage an economy, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama did not manage an economy that compares to what he inherited. He left a declining economy, but he's inheriting a growing economy. So he cannot refer to that economy as an economy that has been criminally handled. He cannot refer to the economy that he has inherited, because the economy he has inherited is far superior to what he left in 2017. So it's for me, with all respect to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, an attempt to obfuscate, attempt to deflect, attempt to blame and be political about it, to saying that, oh, they didn't manage it well, so I'm faced with a problem. So let me give you 10%. It's a difficult situation he finds himself. If I were the president and his advisors in doing that, I think his advisors should have told, instead of saying criminally managed, which is not factual, say that you are now to do your budget and whatnot, you want to get a full grasp of things before you can get yourself into that space. And so therefore, please accept the 10%, which is what he said. You know, at the end of the day, accept the 10%. Let's use this 1 year, okay, to get past whatever, the newness of my administration. Then we can have a constructive conversation. I'm
going to ask you three
questions.
I'm going to ask you 3 questions. Note them down. 1, how did we get to the point of DDEP? 2, do you believe in international ratings? 3, how did we get the Bank of Ghana to be printing money for us?
All of those questions have been answered.
I want you to answer them.
Well, I've answered them here several times. But
I want to hear you again.
Well, we got to DDEP apparently because we have to go to the IMF. And the IMF, going to the IMF was necessitated by the COVID-19 crisis we faced and Russia-Ukraine that disrupted the global economy. Attendant to that is inflation. Attendant to that is currency depreciation, because those evidence for that is replete across the world. The United States was suffering high inflation. The United Kingdom, high inflation, unprecedented, historic levels of inflation, where there was mass agitation for salary increases in the United Kingdom. There were scheduled strikes. I happened to be in the UK around one of those times attending a conference, and on a certain day, the train conductors won't work. On another day, nurses won't go to work. They scheduled it because they were agitating for salary increases commensurate with the rate of inflation in their country. Depreciation of the cedi. It was across the world. The dollar became stronger, particularly because the U.S. Treasury will have to increase interest rate, all right, to make money expensive, increase the cost of borrowing, and so therefore people were saving rather than borrowing. That cleaned up the excess money in the system to manage their inflation. That happened in that time, and Ghana was affected. And so those were the circumstances leading to Ghana having to seek an IMF program, and condition to that would be to manage our debt situation. And so therefore, how do you do that? Then we have to go through the painful exercise of domestic debt exchange, which the government didn't want to, the president most especially didn't want to put Ghanaians through, but it was a necessary rite that we must perform to cross the bridge that we're at. And we have crossed that bridge. And we have crossed that bridge, and the economy started growing. And the economy is growing. So all those laws will be regained. And all the commitments that were made to the bondholders who submitted to the DDEP are being paid. We paid the first, the second, the third, the fourth. The NDC paid recently, I think the 19th or so of this month. And they wanted to sneak in some glory for themselves over there, but we set the record straight that the protocol for making those payments have been put in place, buffers were created, and therefore it was just a matter of supervising the payment. And they haven't come to do anything extraordinary new. They just came to supervise what system is in motion to manage that. So that's good. So that's how we got there. But I was telling you that there hasn't been any case, okay, if we have very serious-minded people listening, and so if people can intervene. I think yesterday, Dr. Kwachi from IEA yesterday texted your program if he's listening. But he can provide some insight on this matter. You know, we haven't seen in this Fourth Republic a government takes an economy that goes down and they have managed to bring the economy back. We haven't seen that. The slump and then the rise. We haven't seen that. Okay? I'm saying that under a regime where the economy goes down and then they're able to bring it back. We haven't seen that. I just shown you an example where under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, if you go back to former President Mills, may his soul rest in peace. When he came in 2011, the economy rose to about 11% or so GDP, right? And if we get to that point, from there in 2011, I think 14% or so in 2011, there hasn't been any expansion beyond that 14% that attained in 2011. It was a decline all the way till 2017 when the NDC left office at 3.4. And you wanted to say that with that momentum at 11, you expected that probably they would have built on that, but the economy failed to expand beyond that. It was decline, and left. But here we were. When we took the economy 8.1, we managed till COVID came, but we came back out of the slump of COVID,
so
which is a story.
And we slumped. We had our neighbors, and sometimes we don't want to go.
Yeah.
Obviously doing better.
No, that's not entirely true. Annie, we've litigated this matter, but if you want to go there, no problem. But the point I'm making to you, Ghana is unique. Okay, we can compare Ivory Coast and Ghana, but it's not comparable. Ivory Coast, their central bank, okay, is tied arm and a leg to the central bank of the
was wrong.
No, I'm not.
When he was doing that,
I don't know why you want to go back to issues that are litigated, but I'm just letting you know. I'm letting you know that whilst we manage our central bank, make all our monetary policy decisions here on our own based on the conditions globally, we have to respond. They don't have to. Okay? So that's a unique proposition. It's like we are all independent people, okay, adults in this room, but you still get chop money from your father. That's a distortion in comparing our standard of living. The three of us here, if we are comparing our standard of living and we are earning the same amount, but you get monthly chop money from your father, it's a distortion. You cannot compare to us because you have an extra stream of income we don't have. So you are an outlier. In our case, if you are going to be judged to be a better, somebody who has a better living standard than us, even though we earn the same salary. That's the case with Ivory Coast. And again, Ivory Coast is not exposed in the market like Ghana is. In terms of how we go to the open market, the international market, capital market, okay, to borrow the euro bonds and the rest of it in the market as we do.
That's the advantage we have over
I'm saying that it's an advantage and therefore also a liability when things happen in the global economy. They are not that exposed. It's like, again...
What's the meaning of exposed here?
Again, in our example I just gave you, instead of you taking chop money from your father, you have gone to borrow money, okay, from a bank. And we don't know, we haven't taken any loan, but you have taken a loan to buy a house. And you're saying that we all make the same income, but we don't have a house and you have a house.
Okay.
You have gone to borrow a loan. Now, while in good time, in good time when the interest rates are low, okay, you'll be enjoying. But when the interest rate in the market changes and it goes high, and you have to pay higher for the loans that you have paid or you have gone to take, we will then be doing fine because we don't have any liability to a bank to pay back with a higher interest rate. So in the market, we are subject to the volatility of the market. They are not to a large extent. Okay, they are not. You understand? So those are the challenges.
Same with Benin, same with Nigeria.
I'm saying that. Well, you didn't mention Nigeria, you mentioned Cote d'Ivoire.
I did.
You mentioned Cote d'Ivoire.
I did.
You mentioned Cote d'Ivoire.
I mentioned all of them.
So, but anyway, you don't have time, so let me just make it for you. The point I'm making is that we have managed and handed over a growing economy to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. He should build on it. There is a precedent in this Fourth Republic that the New Patriotic Party takes a declining economy, fix it. Akufo did that. There's a record in this Fourth Republic that the NPP takes a declining economy and fixes it. Akufo-Addo did that. We've handed him a growing economy. We handed him a growing economy. He shouldn't describe that economy as a mishandled
You didn't
economy.
answer the question of if you believe in international ratings.
But what difference would that make as far as what we're talking about?
I want to know if you are accepting.
It doesn't matter if I believe in it or not. If you have a point about it.
It does. The economy was rated junk. Do you accept it?
And right now,
By
is
the
it?
indicators.
Yeah, of course. During the difficulty of COVID, yes. But right now, that's not the same.
Before the
rating.
government took over, what were we from the junk economy
But
to what?
before the government took over, there was no COVID. You are creating a difficulty for the conversation. We need, as a country, to progress, because when we've resolved a conversation, we progress to the next. When you are bringing this in, it's like you are taking us back. This whole COVID matter is not a secret. It happened. You were here. You were covering your nose with a nose mask. So we have litigated the matter. So if today we are talking going for, you are taking me back to junk and all of that, where is the rating today? Is it the same thing as it was in 2022?
Okay.
No. So we have progressed. So the assertion of the president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, is completely convenient. It is political. It's not factual. It is one that he said just to court the sympathy of Labour so they can agree. And Labour was magnanimous. They accepted it. We, when we were leaving office, had increased the base pay by 25%. Nothing has changed between the time we left and February 19th, or when he was having to negotiate with the NTC. He needed to have done better. He needed to have built on the solid foundations that we have had. That, for me, is where he ought to go. I think that a better excuse for the president would have been that, the MPP just increased the rate by 25%. And at the tail end of that, please accept 10. So maybe next year when I come again to negotiate, then we can do better. If he had done that, it's a better excuse. But to describe a growing economy that you have inherited, that you left in decline, that somebody has built to a point where you were not able to take it. The economy His Excellency John Dramani Mahama left in 2017 is not the economy he walked into. He's walked into a much better economy than he left. So how can you describe that as a mishandled economy?
Criminally handled.
Absolutely. And then say Ghana is a crime scene. Really? That's not true. What you left was a crime scene.
Okay.
What he left was a crime scene.
Okay.
Was an economy that was mismanaged. Economy once upon a time that attained a GDP growth of 14% or so in 2011, and you watched that never cross 15, never cross 14. It came down to 3.4 when he left office. That was economy to be described as having been mismanaged, and not this one that is inherited that is projected to grow and is growing. That is not the economy.